first of all, for this tutorial I am using mostly the satin cords. So these satin cords are of 90 centimeter, and these first I am taking 4 of them. So fold these cords into half because I'm starting from the bottom. So fold the cord into half and start creating a star knot using 4 cords. Okay, now bring the end of the first cord and keep pulling. As you can see here, I'm pulling all the cords, and there we are with the square knot. Oh, sorry, star knot. Okay. Once you're done with this star knot, I'll say start tying double hitch knot on each cord. Okay, so first of all I'm going to pin this cord down and take a new cord, pin this knot down, and here I am taking a cord of 2. I'm taking a 7-meter long cord, and I'm going to take one end and start tying a double hitch knot around all the cords we have added here. Okay, so here you can see that's how I'm adding the double hitch knot on one cord. So just like this. Okay, now start tying double hitch knot on the all the other cords. So first I've tied on 2. Now I'm going to add a 50 centimeter cord on here, and then I'll go and tie on the next one. So here I'm taking the cord and fold it into half, and I'm tying as a larkhead knot like this, and then I am going to tie on the next 2 cords. There I made double hitch knot on the next, and one more. And now again I am adding, so every time I'm adding a 50 centimeter cord. Two and 2. Okay, and now I'm making another line, and in this line I will not be adding any cord. to finish my second line of double hitch knot, and then I'll be moving on to the third line. So on the third line I'll be adding new cords again. So before I start, I'm gonna add one cord because I can see there is a gap. So here we go. Again, I'm still adding 50 cm cords. Again, this time I am going to try and tie at least, okay, let me see. So here I've tied on 2 cords now, and I can again already see a gap, so I'm tying here a new cord. So I'll be keeping the same difference, tying adding a cord, new cord after every two double hitch knots. So here you can see I've added, and then I'm gonna make another double hitch knot, like the second one, and then I'm adding a new cord. Keep doing this around this third line. Here I've completed third line. In this line I have added 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 new cords, and now I am going to start the fourth line. On this fourth line I am going to add no cords, just like we did in the second one, because we already have one extra cord to add to tie a double hitch knot on. So yeah, keep doing that. Okay, so here you can see in the first line we added 1 2 3 4 cords, and then on the second line we didn't add any, and then on the third one we added 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 cords, and then on the fifth we didn't add any, and then on the sixth line we added 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 cords in a whole round, and then after that we made 1 2 and 3 more rounds. And now what I'm going to do, so here you can see the working cord. I am going to use this working cord as a filler cord now, because we're going to use so I've cut this equal to these cords. So I'm going to use this next as a filler cord, and also after that here was the beginning, so I have just used lighter to fix it, and now I'm just gonna pin it down and show you how am I going to start making the body of this so I am using this shortened cord again. For that I am using the blue shortened cord. So this is a bundle of almost 50 meter, not exactly 50, 10 meter almost, so bundle of 10 meter. Okay, so what I've done, I have taken one end, and I'm starting to make from so this was the working cord, and I'm going to use the next to it, and I'm gonna start making double hitch knot like this. and we want to keep all the threads upside, like standing like that. So I'm going to start doing making the knot like this, and so you can see again I'm making double hitch knot on all the cords, but I've kept this upside down and tying them like that. Okay, so that we can make the bag. And this is how it's going to look if we start keep doing it throughout. So yeah, keep making at least 3 to 4 lines, and then we will start pattern. Okay, so what I'm going to do for the pattern is this Pepsi pattern basically, and then you can see I am using white cord for writing part and blue part for the background. I've already used, you can see, and I've already created 4 lines of the blue, and now what I'm going to do is start writing for the first line. So I'm starting from P. So I'm basically going from P, E, P, S, I. So for the P, first I am making 2 knots with the white and giving gaps as it is in the pattern. So you can check how many gaps I've given, and then I'm making 8 knots for E, and then there is 1 gap, and then I'm making 2 knots for P again, and then giving enough gaps which are you can check in um, the pattern paper. And then I'm making 7 white knots for S, then giving 1 gap and then 2 white knots for the I. Okay, that will be our first line. So you can see I have completed 2 white knots for P, and then I'm giving 5 gaps, and then I'll be making 8 white knots for E. And now you can see I'm crossing over the white, so I left to the white cord, and then I am now pushing the blue cord to backwards, and now because I'm using white for the E pattern, the first line, and I pushed the blue one, and then I'll pick the blue one again from so what if you see the gap is a bit too big, then you can always cut the cord and use the lighter to so here I think I'll be leaving for the E, later I'll be cutting, and then I'll be using lighter to push it down. And now we've done for enough for E, basically 8 white knots, and now we can see the gap is big, but I have still brought the blue color crossed over. But I'll be cutting it later, you can see, because E has a very big gap, and then the bag is in circular, so it will mess with the shape, I guess. So here I'm again making gaps for the blue before I start with the P. And here you can see I have given 1 gap again, and then now I am starting 2. So after every letter there is 1 gap, and here the gap is done, and now I'm making 2 white knots for the P. Then I'm giving another gap, and there are 4 gaps in total. here you can see, so this is what I started, but they're not very clear. So what I did, I counted all the boxes and then made one gap between, and then I counted all the like how many boxes in total including the gap, and then I started, and the first line you have already seen, and then I so in total how many lines we have is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. So we have 8 lines in total. Here we've created 1 2 3 4 5 6, and we've left with the last line. And here in this pattern, you can see in the last line there is only so we've started from the bottom to up. So in the last line there is just one gap in each letter, and then all the pattern is white, and while in between, like here, there are a lot of white, a lot of blue, and because the Pepsi we've written with white, and the rest of the it is blue. So there are a lot of gap, and because our bag or can is circular, so when we're creating the leaving the gap, like the cord in between was getting like squishing, like making the circular thing very tight. So here, like here, we have a lot of gap, and we had to so if you see here, so here there is one blue, and then a lot of gap, like 5 to 6 7, and then one blue, and the same here. So what we did, we chopped the thread and glued it using, not melted, and then with the lighter, and then we sticked it. And I'm going to show you how I created, so you can count and do exactly all the like 7. So I showed first line, and then the rest of the line I've already created. I'm going to do the 8th line, because the whole is made with the 8 lines, all the pattern. So in pattern here we completed this line of the blue, and now I'm going to create. So here you can see there is the blue is here in this line, in the 8th line in the pattern, and now we have to create the white and then one blue. So in this time I'm not going to cut white one, but certainly we have to cut the blue after this one, because there's a lot of white and then one blue, and similarly in the other pattern. So yeah, let me show you how I do it. So I literally have not measured how much white I have done, but I don't think it will need more than 5 meters. So here I'm tying one end of the white, because we're gonna need the white here for the eye pattern. And as you can see, I have started from the back, so from I to P. Okay, so 2 white knot for I. Now I'm going to make one blue knot here for the gap after I, and make it as tight as possible, because after this one we're going to cut and cut the blue one. And here we don't have to cut the white one here, because there's just one gap, and it's not changing any structure of ours. So yeah, let's doing that. So I'm gonna cut the blue once I reach to the next. Okay, now I'm going to cut the blue, because this is going to be a big gap. So here I'm cutting the blue, the blue onto this one, just like we added the white cord. And again, once we're done the blue, we'll have to so here the blue is done. You can see Okay, the blue is done. What I'll do, I'll cut the blue from this side as well, because we have again all white on top of P, so I'm going to do this exactly the same. Okay, so here you can see we have one gap of blue, so I'm going to do blue here. Okay, and then cut. And now again all of the P line is white, so again start the P. There is one blue which I'm going to do now, and each of the blue here is just for the gap, so that is why and the gap is just one line. That is why we had to cut the both end of the blue. So what we're going to do, just use the lighter and stick them. Okay, so let's move on to the last. Okay, and go on tying the P Okay, there we go. And now what I'm going to do, so the writing is all done with the white, so we're going to need no white anymore. So I'm going to stop it here and then start the blue. And because we want to create this logo as well, for the logo I'll just clarify how we're going to do in a minute. But before that, what we're going to do is start the blue line, and now onwards it's going to be the whole blue, because we want to create a gap between the logo and the letters and the writing, you can say. So we're going to create at least 3 lines of blue, and then we will start making the logo. Okay, and just keep making the once you're done, so you can see it looks a little loose around here, but because this line is going to be all blue and it will be all closed, so this will be in sync. Okay, and before I go for any further, I'm just going to show you how I am going to burn and tie this. Okay, so I'm going to burn this yellow one, okay, and I'm going to stick it to other side, like on the blue, and I'm going to do exactly the same for the blue. Yes, it is not very clean and clear around here, but at least it helps to keep tying our letters or the writing properly. Okay, so yeah, here we go, and they keep making 3 more lines of the blue, and then we'll start the logo. Okay, so after creating the letters or the writing, we have made 3 more lines with the blue. Here I'm on the next or the fourth line. So because we're going to create the logo here. Okay, so for the logo here you can see I printed the logo and the writing exactly the same so that I can understand where the logo stands, because we want the logo in between, just on top of the writing. Okay, so here you can see that the logo starts from here, which is the third line, not the second, the third line of the P, the second P here. Okay, so after 3 lines we're going to create the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 knots of the white, because we're gonna create white out of the blue, because our background is blue. Okay, so let's start here. Just like before, I'm tying the at one end, and I'm gonna continuous tying for 7 knots or the 7 cord. And let's take the blue cord down. Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna continue tying on 7, and then we will start doing the blue for this line for the rest of the end. Okay, so here we've done 6 and the last one. Okay, and after that I'm just going to bring this blue cord and start tying the blue on the rest of the cords, and we're not cutting the blue one here because this is not that big gap. And then I'm going to continue tying for the whole circle. So when we complete tying around here and come back here, so you can see on the next line we have two extra blue on both sides. So on the next line we come to blue until here, and then we start tying white from here to here and next 2 cord as well on the next line. Okay, so what I did here, you can see the dark part, and so is in this one, this dark part. That's what I've used for my pattern, and the writing is same as I discussed in the beginning, but the pattern of the logo is a little different. But I printed was going a bit too much, so I left few bits, and like here as well. So here you can see the pattern is all set. What I'm going to do, so you can take the picture of it and then exactly create the same pattern. Okay, so after the logo we are on the line which we are going to create on top of it. So I'm going to now starting to tie on the top like this. And you can see the logo line is going the logo is going perfect once we create the top line. It looks fine, exactly as it should, because before that it's just a little up and down. So complete this line, and then on the next line we're going to so I am basically on the third 10-meter long cords. So this is as a working cord, this is a third 10-meter lot. So basically we have already used 20 meters in here, and I'm on the lot of third lots of, so basically 31. Okay, so keep creating this as a whole, and when you come to the second line, and we're going to go halfway around here and add the D-ring. Okay, so here you can see I have completed 2 more lines on top of it, and on the second line I am going forward, and I'm here on top of the last last 2 lines of the P, and I'm going to try and add a D-ring, and this D-ring, okay, so here is D-ring. Okay, so here I'm on top of last 2 lines on the second line of after the logo, and I'm going to take the cord and make a double hitch knot inwards, and we want thread to come outside, like outwards, okay, like this here. And okay, so this is going to look like this, and then we are going to start making the double hitch knot. So here you can see, and I'm making the double hitch knot like this on top of those knots. Okay, and yeah, so I'm gonna continue making this and go halfway and add other D-ring, because we want 2 D-rings to be in there, and then we will end the lining of this. Okay, so keep doing it, and once you reach around here, and also count the cords in between, and then add another D-ring, and we want this D-ring to stand up like this. Okay, so we want at least 2 more lines on top of it. So here you can see I added both D-ring, and then I started making the hitch knots line again. Okay, so here I'm joining in the new cord because I had to cut it. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to continue making the double hitch knot. Okay, so you can see I am on the first line of after adding the D-ring. Okay, so this is the first line. After that I'm going to make at least 2 lines including this one, and then I'm going to finish the side of the basket. Okay, so here you can see we have done 2 more lines on top of the after adding D-ring. Now what I'm going to do is start completing the border line in here, and here you can see how we have our working cord. So I am going to take 2 cords on the next, like this. So I'm taking the working cord and the next filler cord, and taking the third or the second filler cord, and tying onto both like this. Okay, now pull the working cord here. So this was a working cord for this line for us. So I'm taking this one, and I am taking the filler cord, which was the blue one, and I'm taking the other filler cord inside, leaving it beside basically, and then taking the next filler cord on the line and making a double hitch knot out of that. So this will be our next working cord. There we go. Pull and bring this under, and we're gonna keep this filler cord for a whole thing and keep adding then the recent working cord onto it, and that's how we're going to create the whole border line. So there we go. And next here, and every time we just pull the filler cord so that it is tighten enough, and we're going to leave this here. So this is how it's going to look throughout, and come around and complete this, and then we're going to tie the last round using this cord. That's how we will complete it. Because here you can see I am just at the end of completing the border, so I am just doing the last cord, last knot of the border, and then I will be cutting the filler cords, and then I'll be using lighter obviously for all, as I've done for throughout the project, to stick those to cut those ends and stick them inwards. So the cords which I left inwards throughout, I'm going to cut them small, like very small. Here you can see I am doing it, but you can do a little smaller as well, and then it will be easier to get squished in using lighter. I'll be doing a little smaller as well later on, and then I'll stick it. So here you can see I have already sticked the ends, and then and here is how it looks, the pattern and everything. Then I'll be creating the lid part of here this. You can see the lid, and you can see the gap, and we created this gap because we wanted our chain or the bag's belt going through here so that you can connect it to the D-ring. Part of the bag lid looks like, and you can see I have used working cord as blue and silver cords as filler cord. So you can see the bits here and there, and the border comes out as silver because the filler cords are the silver. Okay, so here on the fifth line I've added 16 cords in total. Now you can see I am starting to make another line. So after adding 16 cords, I'm not going to need cords for at least 3-4 lines, so I'm going to continue making the lines without adding any cord. Okay, so after one cord I will start I will give a gap on both end where we have the ring, so just opposite to each other, so start giving gap anywhere. So I'm going to give gap of 2 cords, and then when you reach opposite to that 2 cords, then give another 2 gaps, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, so here you can see I made 2 lines and left these 3 cords where we will be taking the D-rings out like this at the same space where D-ring is, and you can see we are almost there. So I'm going to make this and on the after leaving 2 cords I have made 1 line here, which is including these 3 cords, and I went around and I'm going to do exactly the same. So here you can see I am completing this line where I include Okay, so now you can complete this line and then start creating the border, and border is exactly done the same way we have done the border for the bag part, and that will be it for the lid for this bag. So here you can see I made 2 rounds, including these 3 cords on both sides. So here you can see I have made a hole. So what I did, I chopped. So first of all, I took the cords like this and started pulling them like this much, all 3 of them like this, and the other one as well. So I pulled the cord and then I chopped from the middle and I pushed them inside, and I burnt and sticked them like this. So I'm going to do that. Here you can see I have done the same. Okay, so this is our prepared bag, and you can see there's nothing filled in, so it is like quite lumpy, and that is because of the cords. If you're using cotton cords, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be as lumpy, but when you put the stuff it's going to be okay. So here you can see the lid, and you can see the gap, and we created this gap because we wanted our chain or the bag's belt going through here so that you can connect it to the D-ring, and when you hang it here you can't see the D-ring or anything, and it is big enough. So if I show you the size, you can see from the bottom it is almost like 5.5 inches or almost 6 inches. So we have kept pouch, cotton pouch, which is also almost 6 inches, so you can put the stuff in and then put it in through, and you can use without it, but I think it's better if you use the cotton bag because obviously there's a lot of the things which can be stuck, but if you cut them as well and stick them like others, then it should be fine. And this is how the bottom part. Okay, and let me show you put the stuff and put it around. So it can go as it is like that, and we still have a lot of things, but if you want to put it in the pouch, yes, it can go in, and just put it in, and it is simply a very useful as well as fancy. There we go, and just put any end of the chain or the belt and put it in and just hang it like that. I do think it looks very aesthetic. So we have made in our Coke pattern bag lid which closes, but in this one I just wanted to keep it like that, so it is like that. Thanks for watching.